Now,
Okay. Well, hey, y'all. I am beyond honored to be here tonight talking to Jordan's team because I have always looked up to Jordan and admired her and just wanted to know what this girl had and how is she doing what she's doing because I just adore her. So there you have it. But I'm just going to share my story tonight and just kind of give you a look inside my brain and why I did not quit. Because, like Jordan said, quitting is easy. But what I learned along the way is that even easy has a cost, and it was not one that I was willing to pay for sure. So, um, quick rundown. I started in April of 2015 um, for the opportunity. I was not interested in supplements, did not think I needed them, and thought they were a bunch of, hmm, yeah. So my cousin had always used them, and she was at the health food store all the time, and I just thought she was wasting all of her money. But she was smarter than me apparently. So but she shared the products with me for a long time and I was like, no thanks, not my jam. Also, I'm broke, so definitely not giving any little bit of money that I had to vitamins. And then she showed me, she had gotten to know Lori Welch, Lori Bradford now. She had gotten to know her because she's actually Lori's level two. And Lori showed her her monthly paycheck. And then she showed that to me. And I said, oh, I do need vitamins and I need them now. And so that is how I got started because we were, like I said, broke and just struggling, credit card living, less than paycheck to paycheck. My husband and I had both lost our jobs in the same week in 2008. And then we had a baby the following year. And it was just digging that hole deeper and deeper and deeper and didn't really see a way out. But I always wanted to stay home with my kids at the time, kid. But I wanted to stay home. And so I did, any little thing that I could do just to help contribute, working at boutiques, babysitting. I was a professional babysitter at some really private resorts around here and stuff like that. So that was good money, but I was away from my family all the time, which kind of defeated the purpose. Other than I wasn't going to a 9 to 5 and I still was in control of my time and I could say, yes, I will, or no, I won't. So that's kind of how that got started. And then I had a shop on Etsy is where I landed with career. And I made invitations and that was good and it was successful and all the things, but it was also very time consuming and you never knew if I was going to have 2 orders a week or like 38 orders a week. And so it wasn't something that I could, plan or schedule. So this came along and it just checked all the boxes because my core value is freedom and it checked all those boxes. And my second value is fun and adventure. And so when I saw shopping sprees and cruises and, all of those things sold, absolutely sold. So quick look at my timeline. It took, I went Ruby in 2 years and then I was Ruby I had just hit Ruby before we went on the Leaders Retreat cruise in 2018, or 20, whenever that was, 2017, 20, I don't know. Anyways, I was Ruby then, and it took me 3.5 very, very, very long years to hit senior Ruby.
recording in progress.
I had, during those 3.5 years, I only hit Ruby points twice. Most of the time, I was teetering around senior gold, often below. And that was very hard because especially in 2020, because I don't know how familiar, I mean, I'm sure y'all know Brittany and Christina. Everybody knows Brittany and Christina. But in 2020, I had been with Brittany since the beginning. Okay. And then Christina came into the picture and we were just very tight, very close. They're my best friends in the whole world. Well, I'm a Ruby hovering around senior gold, hopefully on a good month. And that is when Christina's team just exploded. Terry came in and went emerald in 3 months. Christina went from, grasping an emerald to emerald, sapphire, diamond, just back to back to back.
Yeah,
Brittany
because
hit.
we were racing and she
Yes.
won. And I was like, dude, you just had somebody go emerald in 3 months. Little
Yes.
stinker.
Yeah, how you do that? I was like, Christina, where did you find that girl? But so that was it was a challenging year, but it just inspired the heck out of me because I knew these girls and I knew that if they could do it, then I could do it. And I had been in Christina and Brittany's journey, and so I knew where they had come from. I knew their struggles, and I just fully believed that if I trusted the process, if I was consistent, if I was growing every day, doing the things, that my time would come too. I just believed it to my core. And during all of that craziness, every person around me was ranking up, but me, is how it felt. A lot of people would get all up in their feelings, and jealousy creeps in and all those things. And I just chose to let it inspire me and cheer them on 100%. So that was that year. And then I just kept going. And then it was a hard fought battle to senior Ruby, no doubt. I had missed Ruby retreat one year. Our big team does Ruby retreat. So I earned it the first year, missed it the second year because you had to hit it so many. It's kind of like Hawaii and Mexico. You have to hit it so many times, and I missed it. And I was devastated, to say the least. Partly, well, I live for the trips and all the things. So that was very hard, but it was really hard because it was public. Like, everybody knew that I should be on this trip, and everybody knew that I was not on this trip. So it wasn't just missing a goal. It was missing a goal that the whole world felt like saw it, and I'm getting messages and messages and messages like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to see you at Ruby Retreat. And I'm like, not gonna be there, but thanks. And so that was probably the hardest thing that I have done in my business, and it brought a lot of shame up that I didn't really know. And I read Dare to Lead that year. If you have not read that book, go get it. It's phenomenal. But I just kept on trucking, and we kept on moving. And then Haley, my number one new emerald, joined in December, like 28th of 21. She came in, I cast big vision for her, and she was not going to share. And then she was silver 36 hours later. And then Katie, emerald number 2, joined her the following month. Haley went fast start senior Ruby. Katie went fast start Ruby, and we were living our best lives. And so I went from a non-maintaining Ruby that January at 400 and something points, senior Ruby that March, emerald that June. And so anything can happen around here, and I just love that. And I had always heard, you just don't know who's going to join you. You don't know when. You don't know who that next person's going to be. So just keep going, keep sharing, keep talking to people, because you just don't know. And I surely didn't know that Haley was coming because I didn't know her from anybody. It's so funny. I interviewed her and Katie on our team call last night, and I showed a screenshot on my phone where Haley had popped up in my People You May Know, in 2018. And I was just like, God, something about this girl. I like her. I want her. She's going to be a diamond. I just know it. And I didn't know her from anybody. So I friended her and reached out to her. totally dropped the ball. I mean, totally dropped the ball. We were talking a little bit. Apparently, I sent her a triplex video. And then a year later, she showed up and said, hey, can you send me that video again? Because I can't find it. And I'm like, what is she even talking about? Who is this? So I didn't even know who she was. And she took off. She just took off. And then we got Katie on the phone and cast big vision for her and helped her dream. And next thing we know, she's talking to every person on the planet. And that's kind of how Emerald happened, was when they came in and we were just blowing up. And I had, other things happening outside of them too. And then last year hit, and it was a rough year for my team. Haley had lots of personal things going on, and so she actually stepped back for a while, which was hard because I'm Emerald. My primary leg has just said, I've just got to step back. And I was like, oh, okay. Here we go again. Because I had rebuilt at this point, I had rebuilt at least 3 different times. And when I did get back to Ruby Retreat, we were in Charles' office and somebody asked him something about, like, do you really think it's possible? Like, I've lost my team, whatever. And Charles said, he asked her, he said, well, did you build it once? Like, did you already hit Ruby one time? And she was like, well, yeah. And he's like, so go do it again. Just like as simple and matter of fact. And it just hit me right in the heart. And I was like, okay. So that has kind of been my motto, ever since then. Like, you've already done it. Like, you've proven to yourself that you can do it. Go do it again. And so anyways, Haley has to step back and I'm just like, okay, well, here we go. This is good. But I still had Katie. And Katie is very, very much like Jordan, very much like Christina. Just a workhorse. I mean, you dangle any prize at all. I mean, it could be this pencil here. You dangle it in front of her and she's like, oh, I'm gonna win it. I'm going for it, kind of thing. And so she just worked. And then we had to figure out some things with her, and she dug her heels in and did a lot of growing, was very, very coachable, just unbelievably coachable, and she came to me wanting feedback on everything she was doing. What could she do better? And so I'm over here like, okay, well, I've got to lead this girl, like she's coming to me. I have to be able to give her answers, so just constantly lifting my leadership lid, making sure that I'm doing the things, leading from the front, because I can't be asking her to do things that I'm not willing to do. And so she struggled the last half of last year. She got a fire lit in her at convention last year and just was determined to figure some things out, and she did. And all that time I just stayed Haley's friend, because a lot of times what we see is when people kind of step back for whatever reason, and there's a lot of reasons sometimes that people have to just not be all in. But if we love them first, like, she was my friend at this point. We had gotten very close, and I just had to love her where she was, knowing that, well, first of all, I knew that God had put her here with me. Like, I knew that. And I just believed in her so much. And so I just continued pouring belief into her all the time when she was, her life was upside down crazy. And I just tried really hard to be her friend, and never be like, okay, well, when are you coming back? Or, it would be great if you were here, kind of thing, because it wasn't about me at that point. It was about her. and just loving her where she was at. And I was with her when she hit Emerald last month. I was with her and Katie, and that was so fun. But I was with her when she hit Emerald, and she just, like, I was hugging her, and she just kind of went limp almost, and was just like, I can't believe you stayed with me. Like, I can't believe you didn't give up, and I was like, I love you though, like, no, no, I love you. And so that's just probably the biggest thing I can say. First of all, be consistent, do the things, because consistency compounds in everything. I read Atomic Habits a few years ago, and it rocked my whole world. But consistency compounds in everything, whether it's, doing your IPA, whether it's having that daily habit of growth, whether it's posting on social media, whatever it is, it's going to compound. And then just trust in the process. Just trust the process, because if there's other people doing it, they just showed you that you can do it. Like, they're not unicorns. Like, if they can do it, you can do it, if you're willing to do what they're doing. I mean, you can't sit back and just think, oh, well, I can do this, and then not do anything. You have to work for it. And anybody making the kind of money that we're making should be working. So there's that. But I totally lost my train of thought, what I was even saying. And then just love your people and love them really, really well. And just let them know, like, I love you, pour belief into them, help them dream, help them see things that they have in them that they probably don't see, because we don't see the good in us, in ourselves most of the time. It takes a leader to come along and call those things out usually. And so that's what I would say. Just trust the process. And if things are not where you want them, figure out why and go change some things. Go change some things, get some feedback, see what you need to change. And then probably my biggest thing would be grateful, praise God for where you're at and where you're going. Like, I knew from day one I was going to be a diamond. Like, I didn't have any big aspirations to be gold and quit. Like, day one, click and roll, I'm going to be a diamond. Now, I thought it would happen like hot and fast, because I was seeing Celeste had just hit like double diamond 6 months after I started. Andrea Mitchell's over here going emerald in like 4 months. Rebecca Folks, Julia Carty, like, they're just all flying through the things. And then that did not happen for me, and that's okay. Your journey is your journey, and when you need to get somewhere, you will. Because I'm telling you, if I had hit emerald several years ago before I was ready, I would have lost my team. I would have lost my team. And so I really believe that all those years leading up to it was preparing me to be the leader that I am now for my team. And so just be grateful for where you're at, and know that when it's your time, if you're doing the right things, like if you're doing the things, do your part. I've always just tell myself, like, if I'm faithful in the little, he's faithful in the much. And I know he's put me here, without a doubt. I know he's put me here. And I just never was willing to believe that he brought me to Ruby to just leave me. I never was willing to believe that. And so here we are now, and only going forward. Goal is still diamond. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. And if it takes, 10 years, God, I hope it doesn't. But if it takes 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, whatever, I'm here for it. One of my favorite quotes is, it's Babe Ruth. And he says, you just can't beat the person who refuses to quit. And I'm not, there's no way I'm quitting. No way. There's too much invested, too many lives at stake. And just the ripple effect of our impact, there's no way I'm quitting. So that's all I got.
Isn't she so fun? I saw so many of y'all laughing at some point because she's just a real human. She's like an actual human. We are going to do breakouts here in just a second, but before we do that, I was just going to ask really quick. And if you are senior gold or above, you will have a chance to ask Emily questions on the breakout. So be thinking. But you said multiple times I casted vision for them. And you also mentioned you stepped into this saying, I'm going to be diamond. I stepped into this saying, I'm going to be diamond no matter what it takes. But there were things that happened to allow me to think that way, to show me that that was possible. I know what those things are, but I'm wondering what those things were for you to just step in and be like, I'm going to be diamond because I know it's possible for me.
Yeah. So I have always, I think this probably comes from my daddy, but I have always just wanted more and knew there was more, in life. Like I just have never been one to settle. Fun fact, when I was in high school for career day, I was not doctor, nurse, teacher. I was rich housewife. So, I always wanted to be like wealthy and just have the things, and so that is just in me, like innate. But when I saw Lori's paycheck, first of all, I was like, okay, because I knew people in other companies and they were being successful, and I was like, okay, I could do that, but their success wasn't what I wanted. Like they were making like, several $100s a month, or maybe 1,000 or 1,500. And that was great. And that would have helped us a ton, but it wasn't what I wanted. Like I wanted big money, like go travel the world and, all that kind of money. And so, I mean, that's really the biggest thing. And then just getting to know people as I came in. So Brittany took me in, and we got very close, and she was constantly just building me up, pointing things out, that was in me. And then I knew her and Fallon from like day one. And sometimes just knowing people and knowing where they come from and seeing the amount of growth and in them personally, and then also, in their, gosh, I guess even financial status, it just was like, well, if they can do this, I can do this. Because I had confidence. I didn't lack the confidence. It was just the how. And I think really God used my lengthy journey to kind of humble me a little bit, honestly. Because like I said, I expected hard and fast, and that was not what happened. But it's okay.
Well, I love it. I love it a lot because it's super relatable. I have a ton of questions here that I may pop over and ask you on our Ruby thread, or on our Ruby breakout, but you're gonna be with our senior golds and rubies. I am making the breakouts now. Y'all click your rank. We've got 2 tonight. See, silver, senior silver, brand new, or gold, and then senior golds and above. And then Emily, if you can see it, you're going to choose the senior gold and above.
Okay. Where do I see that?
Can y'all see it?
Not yet.
That's weird. Okay, let me just try it again. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to stop recording too.